All right, let me just have a quick chat about Brnc Bbs Hr Hr, my continuing discussion of F. Scott Fitzgerald stories in Flappers and Philosophers. Um, uh, a number one, actually, I want to just, this is a little general meta thing of like, I'm getting something for free because I've downloaded this from Project Gutenberg, their copy of Flappers and Philosophers on Project Gutenberg. It's not flawlessly copy edited. There is definitely stuff that you can look at this and think, was this directly scanned in? Because they seem to have caught most of it, but there's stuff like where it should be, it's "an" instead of "in," or just a couple of paragraphs which, like, okay, that's there's just some garble here, or yeah, like "and" or "in," or other words that they'll other words that they'll get where it's just like, okay, this is kind of like, this is, you didn't mean to do this word, you should have done this word. But it's free. And I mean, I am not someone who usually notices copy editing things, except I'm reading this out loud. And by reading it out loud, I have to make sure that I have to try and say each and every word. And that means that I probably have a much more close reading of this than maybe a casual person will who's reading it. Though, boy, if you're doing anything where you're doing something for a paper or something like that, you'd want to make sure that all you were getting the proper text there. It's interesting. This is like, it's Brnc Bbs Hr Hr, but we very much open at this country club, uh, where we're kind of we get the outward view looking in, and it has a first thing of like basically this country club. Um, it's like, you could stand on the first tee of the golf course and see the country club windows as a yellow expanse over a very black and wavy ocean. And at first, you don't think, oh, this is like an ocean, but no, actually, this is an ocean of caddies and chauffeurs and the golf professional's deaf sister, and people who are outside looking in. You definitely get that. It's like, ah, this is society, and this is the focal point. And then there's a balcony inside, which is like, it's got wicker chairs, which has got middle-aged women watching young couples watching young couples dance, and keeping an eye on them so they don't get any icy hearts behind lorgnettes and large bosoms. And a lorgnette is a pair of glasses or opera glasses held in front of a person's eye by a long handle at one side. So we really are talking about high, kind of a almost what to me sounds like a kind of a stereotypical high society thing. Um, so there is that, and it's very much, it's like a young man with a large income leads the life of a hunted partridge. So we're it's like almost, it's Jane Austen territory there of like, we're looking for eligible bachelors for marriage. Um, and except this is something where, that sway to the plaintive African rhythm of Dyer's dance orchestra. So it's not classical music that these young people are listening to. This is that intermingling of black culture. This is black culture coming into white culture via jazz, through the this new kind of youth culture that is bubbling up. Um, and we find, that, what is it? It's Warren McIntyre has been tasked by the girl Genevieve Ormond, who has decided, like, no, you don't pass my thing for being serious about you, because basically as soon as you're out of my thing, I stop thinking about you and I have affairs with other men. So I'm not going to marry you, but I'm going to keep you trying on. This is Warren McIntyre, who's like 19. And he gets tasked by Genevieve to go dance with Genevieve's cousin, Bernice. And is it? Oh, wait a minute, maybe it's Marjorie. It's not. Okay, it's not. It's not. Okay, so I have to get my names. Marjorie Harvey, who has, besides having a fairy-like face and a dazzling, bewildering tongue, had been justly celebrated for having turned 5 cartwheels in succession during the last pump and slipper dance at New Haven. And Warren had grown up across the street from Marjorie and was just crazy about her. But yeah, she just like, she forgot about him and had affairs with other boys when he was out of her sight. And she's been visited by her cousin Bernice from Eau Claire, which does it say anything about Eau Claire? What the heck? What Eau Claire is? Eau Claire, French for clear water, is a name of a number of locations of features in North America, and it was pronounced as if it were Eau Claire. So yeah, the French pronunciation. Clear water, which, you know, clear water wherever, but wherever kind of thing. And you know, she's being, at this point, Warren gets asked to rescue Claire, to rescue Bernice, who's kind of boring, poor conversationalist, because she's been basically trapped dancing with the same boy, a young boy of Otis, for the last hour. And but the thing is, nobody wants to cut in because nobody's interested in her. There's very much, you know, it's like Fitzgerald is fascinated by the captivating beauties, the icy, hollow beauties of someone like Evelyn in her youth at the thing. But he's like, you know, boring. This is a boring girl, and I don't know. She's about to get apparently maybe a stylish makeover because it's Brnc Bbs Hr Hr is the thing. But yeah, they dance, and you know, they go off. Warren is really bored, and he decides I'll try a line on her. It's like, you've got such kissable lips. You've got an awfully kissable mouth, he said quietly to her, you know, in a dark corner. And she just immediately kind of ejaculates, "Fresh!" And then tries to kind of like, embarrassed, and tries to play it off. But by that point, he's like, "No, I'm this kind of thing." It's like, how dare you? I hate being called fresh. Just like, male privilege reigning supreme at this time. She tries to change the subject, which is more about a couple, Jim Strain and Ethel Dermarest, sitting out as usual, and they've been engaged for 3 years, and they're waiting for him to actually get enough to actually be able to get a job, keep a job for long enough so that they can marry. But he hasn't been able to actually keep a job for 2 months yet. You know, Bernice says, "Oh yeah, it's like they've been mooning around for years without a red penny. Isn't it silly?" Which pisses off Warren again, because he was a close friend of his brother's, and anyways, he considered it bad form to sneer at people for not having money, which is, you know, that's a rich. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, that's what my nouveau riche people do that, or it's like, there's just like, Warren's just like a self-entitled asshole. You get the sense in this story, and Bernice is just looked down upon completely. But that is part 1 of the story, which I've been rambling on a long time about. So I will stop there. More videos later.